Hello, everybody, and welcome to lesson 4 of getting started on the bagpipes. All right. In this lesson, we're going to tackle something very important, but is often overlooked, and that is to tune your practice chanter. All right. It's important to keep your practice chanter in tune with the person you're playing with in order to be able to hear well. All right. It allows you to hear better as the student, and it also allows your teacher to hear better, okay, which are both important things, and you can really hear all the little things on the practice chanter that you need to hear in order to improve, okay? So it's important to keep your practice chanter in tune with, if you're a member of the Highland Bagpipe Academy, you're playing with the online videos, or if it's one-on-one with a teacher, or if you're part of a pipe band, and you want to be in tune with everybody else, okay? And all you really need in order to do that is some electrical tape. All right, the thin kind is generally the best. You can get it at Home Depot, you can get it at Amazon, you can kind of get it anywhere, or you can get it at a Bagpipe online store. But the thin stuff is really good, and obviously try to get black so it matches your chanter. And you'll probably need some hemp. This is black waxed hemp, which I like, but you can also get the yellow waxed hemp, or you can get the yellow hemp that's unwaxed. It doesn't really matter that much. I just like the black wax hemp myself. All right. So those are the things you're going to need. Now, these lessons that we're doing right now, you can do them like we're doing right now on YouTube. That's absolutely fine. Or you can head to the Highland Bagpipe Academy at highlandbagpipe.com. And there's a free course on there where you can go through all the lessons and stuff. It's really, really great. And again, it's free. It's great for any beginner, and I highly recommend doing that. But if you'd rather do it on YouTube, just keep doing it on YouTube. All right? Okay. So when you're playing your practice chanter with somebody, and you notice, you're like, oh, geez, that just doesn't sound quite right. I don't know if I'm flat or I'm sharp or what it is, but I just don't sound in tune with the person I'm playing with. All right, here's what you do: play your practice chanter with it, but blow harder. All right. If when you blow harder it sounds better, that means you need to make your chanter sharper. Okay? And to make your chanter sharper, you do this. Take the chanter cap off. All right? Make sure not to hit the reed. And then you take the reed out and you take a bit of hemp off. Okay? Then you put the reed back in the reed seat. Put the top back on and give it a go again. If that fixed it, well, then you've just fixed your chanter, right? It needed to be made sharper. If it didn't fix it, but it made it better, then you need to take a little bit more hemp off and sink your reed even a little bit more, okay? So when you blow harder, if the chanter sounds better, you need to sink your reed further. And guess what? The same holds up the opposite way, all right? If you're playing and you're like, it doesn't sound good, so I'm blowing harder, and now it sounds even worse, then I want you to blow less hard. All right, because what you're doing there is you're just making your chanter sound flatter. If that makes it sound better, then you do the opposite, right? You take the top off carefully. You take the reed out, and you put a little bit more hemp on the bottom of the reed. All right, and you put it in. So basically, if you blow less hard, make your chanter flatter, and it sounds better, then you want to lift your reed up a little bit, okay? All right, and if that fixes it, then that's all you needed to do, okay? So that's generally it when trying to get your chanter to be in the right pitch, all right? If when you blow harder, it sounds better, sink your reed. If when you blow lighter, it sounds better, raise your reed. Okay? Now, with individual notes, all you have to do, now, if you look at this chanter, the high G has got some tape on it. The high G on this chanter is chronically sharp. All right. So I always have some tape on it. And what you do is, let's say I didn't know that though, and I was playing along. And I was like, oh, geez, that high, I don't know what it is, but that high G sounds awful. Then you take some tape, all right, and you put it over the high G, and then you try it again. All right, and you're like, okay, that sounds better. All right, so that's just flattening individual notes. All right, generally with a practice chanter, if a note sounds bad and it's just one note, it's probably too sharp, and it's probably either the high A or the high G. Okay, so that's basically how you tune a practice chanter. It's not that complicated. All right, I'll say it one more time. If when you blow harder, it sounds better, sync it. If when you blow lighter, it sounds better, raise it. And if a note sounds wildly out of tune, and it's usually just the high G or the high A on a practice chanter, put a little bit of tape on it and see if that fixes it. All right? All right, that's basically how you tune a practice chanter. Now, let's try that thing where I'm going to have an audio example playing Scald and the Brave, and I'm going to grab this practice chanter, which is a completely different one. Obviously, it's a different chanter and a different reed, and it's just very different. And I'm going to try to play that with the recording, and I'm going to fix stuff along the way in order to make this chanter sound just like this one. Okay? All right, let's get started. All right, I'm going to just press play over here. This is just Scott and the Brave, one of the lessons from the Highland Bagpipe Academy. And then I'm going to try to play this practice chanter with it and see how it sounds. All right, right away I can tell it doesn't sound right, okay? It doesn't sound horrendous, but I can tell it's not quite there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to blow harder on the practice chanter and see if that fixes it. Okay, so that fixed it, all right? So what I would do is I would say, okay, it was my chanter, this one obviously is a little bit flat compared to that one, because when I blew harder, it sounded better. So I take a little bit of hemp off the practice chanter reed, and I sync it, all right, a little bit further. Then I take the remaining hemp and just sort of twist it around the reed like that. Okay, and then I put the cap back on, making sure to be careful not to hit the sides. All right, and now I'll give it another go. All right, now what I can see is the low hand notes sound pretty good. All right, they're, for the most part, pretty in tune with the recording. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be pretty good, okay? But what I could tell on those long high A's in Scout and the Brave is the high A sounds really bad now, all right? And it didn't really sound that bad before I sank the reed, which means I'm going to need to put some tape on it, okay? So I take the tape, all right? Cut off a piece and put it on. All right, I usually start with about half the hole covered. Now normally you wouldn't, on a real bagpipe chanter, you shouldn't start with covering half the hole, but on a practice chanter, that's okay. All right. So again, the bottom part sounds pretty good. The high A still sounds a little sharp. So I'm going to just cover the high A a little bit more. All right, now it's quite covered now. But we'll try that, okay? Let's try to get this over, start over again. All right. Okay, so now the bottom hand and the rest of the chanter all sounds good with the high A, okay? This chanter I have now matched to the chanter on here. And all I had to do was sink the reed a little bit and put some tape on the high A. Now, because I had to put tape on the high A, I'm going to guess I'm going to have to put a little bit on the high G as well. There's no high G's in this tune, I don't think. And if there is, they're not very long, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape on the high G, all right? Just a little bit. And if when a high G does come up, and it isn't sharp, then I'll just take it off, all right? And if it is sharp, then at least I know that I have some there, all right? So I recommend that. If you have some tape on your high A, you're probably going to need a little bit of tape on your high G. Okay? All right, so that's how you tune individual notes as well, okay? And that's really about it. You just heard there the practice chanter didn't sound good when we first started with this recording, and all I had to do was fix a couple little things, and then it matched pretty well, okay? And that's all I'm asking for. That's all you should expect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Like when you're playing in a pipe band and you're matching your chanter to your pipe major, you're looking for it to be a little bit more perfect. With a practice chanter, it just needs to be in the ballpark, okay? At least it needs to be close, all right? All right, so that is all it really there is to tuning your practice chanter, a overlooked but very important part of learning how to play the bagpipes. If you enjoyed that content, please like, subscribe, share, do all that great stuff. All that stuff helps me keep motivated into making all this content. I'd also love it if you went to the Highland Bagpipe Academy, which is highlandbagpipe.com, and check out some of the stuff on there. There's a free course, there's a free tune book, there's lots of other sort of great content as well. And I also have a Patreon page where for as little as $1 a month, you can help build this channel as well, and you get all sorts of perks. You get a free tune book, a couple free tune books, and things like that, okay? So all that stuff would mean a lot to me, keep me motivated to keep making all these videos, and thank you so much for tuning in today.